Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
15 PCA.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. So we got episode 2 of Star Trek Discovery. I don't remember the name of the episode because I do not care.
Me either.
They keep giving us recaps from stuff from season 1. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Just play the damn episode. So we get it starts out, we get a kind of a cool shot of Discovery, like flying through some like nebula cloud thing. Looks pretty cool. And I guess they get a that data pad that Spock had. Michael brings it to Pike and shows it to him. He's like, look at these. He drew these energy bursts, and they are exactly identical to what Starfleet found. But he found these 6 months before the first one appeared. Yeah. So something's going on. But
how would even Spock get this? It's so weird.
I don't know. It's the mystery of these red dots keeps building and building, and I get the feeling that there's going to be no payoff.
No.
There's very few shows that can pull off a huge mystery and have a good payoff. I don't trust that they'll be able to do it right.
Not with this show, no.
But he's showing it to her, and it's literally one for one. Perfect. So something about Spock knew something about these red energy bursts.
And he played the recording that she lost in the last episode, Spock did.
And
the Enterprise.
And Pike goes, well, then she's like, we need to talk to Spock because we need to know what the hell's going on with this. Pike's like, I know exactly where he's at. He's in a psychiatric hospital. So he basically had a mental breakdown. And she's like, well, why weren't we contacted? My family or not me? Well, he didn't want anyone to know because I guess that's part of their protocol or whatever. But since this is it goes beyond his personal hang-ups, they're going to okay, we're going to go talk to him.
Yeah, well, yeah, now you have to. There's no choice now.
And she's like, well, we haven't talked to Spock in years. And he's like, well, too effing bad almost. He doesn't say that, but he's like,
yeah, who cares?
This is bigger than that.
Yeah.
And she kind of has that mini flashback when she saw the quote-unquote Red Angel. And Pike's like, oh, you can tell me anything. If there's anything about this, you got to tell me. And you think she's going to say, but she doesn't. She just
I wanted to thank you for
saving me.
And he even says, I even had a hard time in my relationship with my
father.
My father. It happens.
So they get a reading. One of those red bursts shows up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to it. A maximum warp. It's going to take him 150 years or something.
Yeah. Something
ridiculous. So how the hell are we going to get there? Then they suggest, we can use the spore drive. Trademark pending spore drive. And they're like, oh, okay. Of course, Pike knows he knows it exists, but he doesn't know how it works or anything. Yeah. So they explain to him how it works and how Stamets has to be the one to go in there and be like the physical navigator. Here's the thing: no one asks.
They don't
Stamets.
even ask for permission. No, they just force him to, and it's like, well,
I thought that's kind of jacked up. That they kind of said, "Whatever, you're a piece of machinery again. Do this."
You got to kind of, especially what he went through in that thing, and he ends up telling Tilly what he went through.
Yeah,
he goes, "I saw my dead husband there," and it's like, well, that's kind of
weird. And he goes, "First, I thought it was like a hallucination, but it wasn't. He was really there, and I'm supposed to be on this side. But when you go through that network, you're going through the veils of
resistance. Yeah, it's like going beyond the veil, like some kind of not spiritual, but just a different plane of existence. And I don't want to do it again. I don't want to go through that.
They just make them do it because whatever, we can just make them do these things. And of course, Tilly feels kind of bad, and I would too. It's kind of jacked up that they do this to him. Yeah. But he does the jump. They go, and I always thought it looked cool because there's a little weird.
I always thought it was a cool way it looked when they did the jump.
And boom, they're there, but there's no red burst. There's only just the planet. And they're like, what the heck? Is this where we're supposed to be? And they do the readings like, oh, this planet, it's very Earth-like, but we're getting a distress signal. And it sounds like gunfire. Oh, help us, we're being under attack. And okay, charge all our weapons, shields up, let's see what's going on. They look down at the planet, and it just looks like a little farming town. Like a straight-up Americana-looking place.
And they scan and go, they're all human. Well, what the heck? How in the heck humans get... And they're out in the Beta Quadrant.
Yeah.
150 slots. Way on the other side of the galaxy.
How the F did these people get here, and why they don't even have electricity? They scanned everything. Yeah. They don't even have electricity, but how's this signal getting out? There's no warp signatures anywhere. There's no traces of any ships even being in there in the area. So this is where the show had a pretty cool kind of mystery setup. Yeah. It's almost felt like an episode of a real Trek show where it's you run into a planet, there's just mystery, let's find out what's going on.
Why are these humans out here? Yeah.
That if it would stuck with just that.
But it can't.
But Discovery can't help itself, and it just does all this stupid crap that's just unneeded. So we get this cool little mystery, and they're scanning the rings and everything. They're like, oh, wow, it's just like Earth, but it has a bunch of rings around it, too.
Now, here's the thing I couldn't stand, because Pike throughout the episode kept saying General Order 1 does not apply to humans. You can have contact with pre-warp humans.
That ruins the whole entire... I am 99.99999% sure General Order 1 does not apply to human race. No. So, he can go down and save them. You don't have to worry about warp and Prime Directive and any of that crap. So, that whole premise, I think, ruins this whole entire episode.
Yes, it does.
It just goes to show the people on this don't know any better. Yeah. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode. That's why it was almost kind of good.
Yeah.
And we got some pretty cool tech talk. And
definitely in this episode.
I like how Pike set up the room. Like, he changed, now there's a place to sit and everything.
There's like a vase in the background.
Yeah, it's a little more inviting.
Yeah.
But they're like, talking about everything that's going down. And I like the fact that, Pike is he's sticking to the rules. And Michael Burnham is just like, oh, who cares? Just go down there and do everything. Well, if that's what he says, even though technically I don't think it applies, but
he's your captain.
Let's just say that it does. But you still listen to your damn captain. He's
not doing anything out of line. He's not doing something outrageous,
But then we get this is where the episode gets bad. Tilly's like running some experiments on that big asteroid that they caught, and she's wearing like these little glasses to like scan it.
And the camera angle they gave was one of the worst camera angles.
Yeah, she's like a profile side view. Oh, that's not your best angle, honey. It is really
no. Don't ever do that again.
It's a bad angle for you. Right. But the computer's like talking to her, saying, "Oh, this is going to be dangerous," and she's like cutting out a piece of it. Apparently, a pebble size of this thing weighs like a ton. Or some ridiculous thing. Yeah,
because it hit a tray, and the thing just got destroyed.
So if it would like land on a person, it would completely destroy you.
Yeah.
So she's like running this experiment. She looks like a goofball. And is this where they're trying to be like, oh, STEM research and you can do the... It sounds like it should belong in a honky-tonk sci-fi show, not in a Trek show where it's past all this.
This is Buck Rogers. It makes perfect sense. This isn't Buck Rogers, guys.
But she ends up catching one of the things and captures it in this anti-grav chamber thing. And then it straight up like blows like an energy burst and it flings her across the room.
About 30, 40 feet.
She hits her head. I'm like, Tilly, be dead.
We're like saying, oh, Tilly, you're sleeping again. Get up.
Yeah, she's sleeping on the job. Look at her.
She's all like this.
But there's blood on the ground, too. But they do a classic, especially very classic for the original series, where the captain and two people beam down to a planet. We have to like stay in disguise and everything. I like that.
But they were still wearing their... Yeah, kind of. It was a mix.
And they bring that... here's the thing, too. Everyone's using first names on the bridge.
Very unprofessional.
I know that's what Pike said in the first episode. I thought that was like, let's get to know each other. But from there on out, it's
here's the thing. It's weird. I know he wants to be more friendly because of Lorca, but that's not your fault. You need to get over that. You're not Lorca. If they think that, they're stupid. I don't know what to say. You got to get over it.
So they're all going by first names. And I'm glad they got the lady with the braids. Again, I don't remember her name because I don't care.
Because I guess she was in like in a commune or something.
So she could have some type of usefulness on there. Yeah. So they get down there and it's like a little church house and everything. They walk in there and it looks very Catholic because there's stained glass windows.
Yep.
And you see some stuff there, and they even mention like, hey, there's signs for Catholicism, there's even Judaism, there's Islam symbols.
Christ on the cross.
Yeah, so you see all this other stuff like, but it's like a mixed religion, like an ultra mega religion.
Even had Hindu, all that, Muslim, and then they said Wicca. Okay, yeah, we really have Wicca. Okay, let's just okay, sure.
So you're telling me there was Wiccans in that little thing that they got transported in?
The chances of that are slim and none.
Everything else makes perfect sense.
Yeah, Buddha, Hindu, all that.
Yeah, Islam, Catholicism, all that. So it makes sense. But Wiccan is just silly. I think you don't want to piss off those witches with your sci-fi show.
All 100,000
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then they find like a book, and it's kind of written like the Bible, but you can see that it's like pieced together.
Yeah.
So like they just took bits and pieces of like a bunch of religions and then strung them together.
Again, this could have been interesting, when you think about it, but...
Yeah, you see like something that looks like a Bible. You even see like what looks like a Torah, like the scroll from Judaism. Mm-hmm. And of course, Michael Burnham doesn't believe. She kind of hates religion, and then even the other lady like, we're non-believers. At least Pike is open to almost everything. Like he seems a little more like, guys, when we're here, kind of keep your opinions to yourself. He doesn't say that, but you can kind of feel that that's what he's trying to push out.
Guys,
keep this crap to yourself. But they're scanning the texts and everything, and then they're like, how about we just look at the stained glass windows, because it was a way for people to teach religion for people who couldn't read.
Yeah.
So you can just look at the pictures, and some of those stained glass windows, you see like Marine-looking guys.
Yeah, military.
It's like, what the hell? Then you see like an angel-type creature, which is that red angel.
Yep.
And see, that's when Michael Burnham should have been forthright with everything that she was seeing, but she felt like she had to hide everything from the captain.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Some guy walks in, he's like, "Hey, why aren't you guys in the fields?" Like, "Oh, we're not from here. We're from some northern village, and we're travelers." Classic sci-fi stuff. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, cool beans." Then I guess they're having, I don't know if it's a mass.
It's like the anniversary of them getting on the planet, so that way they can explain what happened.
Yeah. So they're having like a little I want to say it's like a little ceremony. There's candles, and the ladies like
they're putting sage in there.
Yeah, and so they're doing a bunch of the little things from a lot of different religions, whatever. And they're kind of telling the story. Oh, we were in a church.
2053.
They were during World War III, during the wars on Earth. Somehow, some way, they were in a church building, and they ended up here somehow.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Within seconds.
So it wasn't it wasn't a starship. They never really explained it. They just explained it as it was God's intervention.
Yeah.
That's the way that these people see it. And they all sit down and they're having a conversation, and like Michael Burnham, she's like stirring the pot.
Yeah, talking crap.
What about science? Has anyone tried that? It's like, you don't know how hostile or non-hostile. Yeah. What if they would have said heretic and just attacked you?
Yeah, the thing that's so crazy about that, contrast it with the episode of Orville tonight, where that was different because they were already in jail, so that way they had to figure a way to get, Kelly and Bortus out of there. Well, they weren't doing anything to you, Burnham. That's their faith. And you're mocking it.
Yeah, she's kind of almost making fun of them. And here's Pike just sitting there and just kind of just going along, going with the flow, rolling with the punches, not being too loud, not being too...
And he said, well, thank you for this, and
Yeah, and then, of course, Michael Burnham just keeps like, I can't believe these people, like, she doesn't say it, but she knows she's thinking in her mind, people believe in these archaic things and these, believing in gods and religion. It's like, we get it, Michael Burnham.
But then you saw an angel, didn't you, Burnham? So what does that say?
She still doesn't want to believe it.
Oh, no, she doesn't.
But, then they're like, oh, it's getting late, because even Pike's, like, trying to stop the conversation. Yeah. Burnham, shut the hell up. So, it's getting late. Can we take a refuge in your...
And Burnham's so perfect. Why didn't she just heed his warning when they were in the church saying, hey, guys, kind of keep it on the down low, basically?
She can't.
Because
she has to prove to these people that they're wrong and they believe in false things.
And there's like 11,000 people on this planet, too, by the way.
So, here's the thing, though. This is what I'm thinking. So, you're saying it's all lost? Are you even saying Islam is false? Are you saying that? Can you say just that, those two things together?
Of course not.
But it has to be... If you're going to include that, you have to include all religions.
Yeah, of course. So, we got her out. Yeah, I know.
Then we went back from that adventure on a planet that we haven't seen in this series except for maybe once.
Yeah.
And we get back to Tilly and she's in the infirmary, sick bay, and she just she got a clonk on her head like no one's business.
She started going almost
she starts hearing voices and it's some other officer, and we've never seen this woman before. Her voice is weird,
and she stands off weird, and she just. You thought
Tilly.
You thought Tilly was kind of oddball and kind of special. This lady's ultra special. She's really, really bad.
It's irritating. It makes this episode what it could have been kind of okay to horrible. Yeah. This one character, why pick this weird sounding, odd, off-putting, even just like her personality? It's just weird.
Oh, Tilly, I really like you. You're amazing. Oh, God.
And it's really weird because she's talking to this person and she's trying to get at the doctor, and Subaru comes in. And this is like a cool Subaru moment. And she's like, oh, is this going to endanger my, in the command program? And he's like, no, it's not. But if this is a pattern of behavior of reckless... Because you didn't come to anybody about this. Yeah. Basically, what she was trying to do was use this rock to be the navigational system for the spore drive.
Just safe started from a lawsuit.
The safe discovery from a lawsuit, and so Stamets won't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
How would a rock replace a sentient mind? I don't know.
It's dark matter, so who knows? But the thing is...
But how would it control? It's so dumb.
But here's the thing, though. Why didn't she go to Suru with that first?
Suru, I want to run an experiment. Yeah. I think I have an idea. No, she went to do it on her own.
You can't do that on a starship.
And, and she's talking about, am I going to be kicked out of the command program? You should be kicked out because you're an idiot, not because... Then he explains to her, you can't be doing these kinds of things. I remember being the first of my race to go through the academy. I felt like I had to do everything better than everyone.
You learn 90 languages of different federations.
And he goes, and I put so much pressure on myself, and it was a detriment to myself.
Yeah.
Don't do that to you. You're a part of the crew. We respect you. You're special. You're good. And you can be great, but do not make these reckless decisions.
Take Suru and put him on another Star Trek show, please, with better writers.
Again,
I make fun of my Siru. He do a better job.
even all of last season, you guys give us guff about liking Siru. I like Siru. He's a good cat. He's a good commander. He's good. So he basically gives her, get some rest, get better, don't be an idiot anymore. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but like you said, you cannot help others if you're unable to help yourself first, which is true. I like that. Some good advice there. Then they're still above the planet. Pike and the crew are still down there, and then we got a little bit of an emergency. Yeah. One of the rings, the outer rings, is starting to separate, and it's full of like radioactive material. Yeah. It's going to crash into the planet and basically destroy the planet.
Before that, though, we forgot to mention this place is called New Eden. Does that sound familiar, everybody?
Yeah, it's so funny. I've been replaying Fallout 4. Far Cry 5. Excuse me. I've been replaying Far Cry 5 in anticipation for New Dawn, and they're like, it's so funny that it's called New Eden. They're like a super religious thing. It's like, is Joseph Seed a part of this?
No, literally, when I first saw the church, I go, watch, this is Far Cry. And literally enough, they said New Eden. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Well,
yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Like, come on, guys, call it something else. But one of the rings is separating, and it's going to rain down radioactive death upon the planet. And it's going to cause basically a nuclear winter.
In like 45 minutes. So like they're in 60 minutes. So
they are in a problem. It's like, even Stuart's like, suggestions. Let's try to figure this out. Then Stamets gets on the bridge and he's like, thank you, because he's an astrophysicist. He's super smart. So they're trying to figure out what can they do. Can we use tractor beams? Can we do this? Can we just blow them up? And
it was kind of cool because you actually had a male on this show that was a human that came up with an idea really quick in Stamets. And he wasn't demoted or wasn't a demeaning. It was cool. He just did that. Like, okay. Because he came up with it.
Then we get back to them. They're looking for that power source. Like, they have no electricity. How the hell did they send out a signal? Of course, they scan it to like the basement of the church or whatever, and it really does look like a church basement. It even has like a church calendar that you would see.
They really got details right on that.
That was really fun. I thought it was kind of funny because it's like that crappy looking calendar. I love it. But they're scanning around, and then we get Pike, and he's talking to. And they keep talking about that first directive stuff, and it's like, none of that really applies here.
That's the only where Pike was screwing up in this episode really bad.
But Pike was also explaining, he's like, there's no one needs to be saved here.
No.
They don't know about the cataclysm that's coming.
No, obviously
But
not.
He's like, we have to just leave them alone. We don't. And then Michael Burnham's like, they believe in a lie, and their religion is.
But that's not your business.
That's not your place.
No. You can think that, but they believe in it, and that's their belief.
And I like Pike in this episode, actually, for the most part. But then one of the villager people, he's like, I know you're not from the north or whatever. You guys are from the stars. I know you are, because my family has had this. I kept that signal going. My whole family or generations have been doing this.
Yeah, because they said they say scientists too.
And there's some scientists. I know there's something special. And of course, Pike's like, no, you're mistaken. We're from something, because he's trying to keep his cover. And this guy's desperate for answers. Yeah. You can tell that he's like, oh man, I gotta know you. Something must be out there. Then he's like, no, we're taking our stuff and we're leaving. And he does like some type of concussion grenade.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, knocks him out. And he basically locks him in the church basement.
And the second before that, they showed the angel again. Burnham saw it again. And then she got out.
Like in her, like, it was like for like a millisecond.
Yeah.
So this thing's like in her brain or something. It's so weird. But yeah, they're locked down in the basement. And they have to try to find their way out. We get back to the Discovery, and we see Tilly's like walking around the sick bay trying to figure out how to solve this problem.
Oh, this part's so bad.
It goes on for so long.
Yeah.
And she's being weird and just chatty.
A and B is B and C and C. Oh, just be quiet, please, Tilly.
I'd rather have seen her at a data pad doing something, but then she's just being weird, and that one girl with the funny, weird, squeaky, mousy voice is back, and Tilly. And
you're such a good person, and
you're so smart. Your mind is so interesting.
Interesting, and then she goes, "No, you're interesting." And like, what is this, praising women day? What is this, back and forth?
No, you're the best. You're the best.
Oh,
and
God.
They got stuck in the "you're the best" loop for 44 years, and they're always doing these weird, awkward smiles at each other. Like, are they gonna jump on top of each other?
It's so odd.
But Tilly realizes we need something with a large gravitational pull. Oh, like the asteroid thing we caught. So she runs to the bridge in her
medical
the medical going. Yeah, I'm surprised the back was up. If she would have run by and her ass is hanging out, that would have been so funny. That'd have been just amazing. Might as well.
Tilly, you want to get a little bit longer there? Want to get some clothes on?
She's like, is there a draft in here? Just the window.
You see her butt? Oh my goodness.
Why not? Why not?
At this point,
why not be as funny as possible?
Why not? They've already betrayed all the tenets of Star Trek, right?
But she gets to the bridge, and everyone come with ideas, but they're not going to work. She's like, "Oh, excuse me, I have an idea. We can use She's like explains it the dumbest way. We need something with gravity. Remember the thing we caught?
And until first it was like, what are you doing? I already talked to you again today. What are you doing? It's like, you're going about it the wrong way. Why don't you go, hey, I want to talk to the bridge, and then say it on the communicate that you're going up. But she does everything so
silly
and
it's
dumb.
done in a weird, silly way. Then she explains it, and they're like, oh, the only problem is we'll have to be like right in the asteroid field, like right in there. In the, I guess our helmsman. I don't remember. Did it say Nicole? I can't remember the names.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm a good pilot, but I can't fly that well. I never knew that about you. Like they decided to give all these side characters all this personality in one episode.
Season 1 for the whole season. Now you're just rushing it in now. Like it's like, okay, it's overwhelming. Stop, slow down a little bit.
And then we get another weird scene where it's people who just don't know Trek. Stamets says, I can sport jump into it. So she wouldn't have to. Yeah, we'll get there real fast. And they only like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, well, Stamets, hurry up, and he runs there. Why don't do a transport?
Yeah.
In-ship
and
transport.
then nothing is so weird. And then when they're talking about what she'd have to do when the maneuvers, it'll be like a donut. Until they say it like that?
Yeah, you'll be doing donuts in space. And here's the thing. This is dialogue that would fit the Orville perfectly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Malloy.
I can see Malloy talking about like riding the donkey when he did that thing around the
ship. Because that fits in Orville. That's the universe McFarlane made.
This dialogue, these characters, these outbursts, doesn't fit Trek at all.
Here's the thing. Even for Orville, there's not that many outbursts. Not like this. Not even close. This is ridiculous.
So we get back to the planet and they got out of there because the one girl, I can use a magnet and do the thing and unlock the thing. And it's like, why couldn't she just jimmy the lock? And why did she have to do this whole magnet thing? It was just like a weird, I don't know why they would even bring this up. But he gets out there and of course Pike's like, well, whatever happened to Thou Shalt Not Still? Because the guy took all their gear. Yeah. And he's like, look, there's all these things and they're from the stars. And he's trying to...
And the leader doesn't... No,
I don't want to see any of it because that's the old ways.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, come on, tell them you're the scientist. He's talking to Burnham. I know you're the scientist.
And she didn't say anything there.
And she held her tongue. Thank God she held her tongue because it's not your place to basically ruin this whole entire society. And he's trying to plead with them, please tell us. And Pike's like, no, we want our stuff, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I guess during all the stuff that he stole one of their phasers. Yeah. And there's a little girl playing with it. And somehow she sets it to explode mode.
You can overload a phaser.
But how does she...
I never seen that in the original series. I know Next Generation you can, but there's like certain protocols you have to do.
Don't you have to it would know you? Wouldn't you have to be registered?
Well, it doesn't have a scanner per se because you can. What if you're in an emergency and you have to grab a phaser?
Yeah, but if you're I would imagine it wouldn't let some person just.
Well, this guy, you think there was a little code mechanism, you have to go.
Yeah, as soon as you grab it, it recognizes. This is Tilly who grabbed this.
You grab. Well, especially in this show because how they change fucking track all the time. But when they do a button combination, you have to do to activate it something
to activate the overload at least.
Something, yeah.
Wouldn't it have been better if she would have just pulled the trigger and accidentally shot him?
Yeah.
No, but and
then it was stun, and that's the stun setting. No, they made it like it was like a dire.
So it explodes. It's going to blow up, and then Pike does a heroic thing and jumps on it, and it basically jacks him up.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost funny because the guy who knows that they're aliens, he knows they're from the stars and stuff. He's like, "You can heal him with your technology. I know you can." He's almost happy this happened. And they do the right thing.
Because that's his faith is believing in this, science and all that, like how Burnham is.
But none of his faith is founded. No, it's all just a thought.
Yeah.
Burnham does the right thing. Oh, we have to pray for him. Bring him to the church. Thank you for following your captain's orders instead of just being now it's my turn to shatter this guy's world. You don't need to do that, Burnham. It's okay.
Yeah.
We get back to Discovery and they're going to do the jump. Boom, they're over there. And they take the asteroid thing out of there and they use the tractor beam to hold on to it. Well, why didn't they use the tractor beam to get the thing in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. I thought they couldn't do that, but I guess they can. Why don't they do that the first time? Instead of doing the butt maneuver.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
And it looks kind of cool. Again, I always like the way that the ships look. I know it's very dark, but I still like the designs.
The Federation ships have always been good on the show.
So they basically use it as a magnetic lasso.
Yeah.
And
the scene goes on for way too long.
It goes on for about a second and a half too long. It's okay, we get it. The rocks are coming together. Then they go, oh, it's working. 100% of the things came back. It's they didn't have to say 100%.
Well, they say, some of them fell on the north side, but it's not going to affect.
They fell into the ocean, and it may cause some damage, but no loss of life.
Yeah.
That no, it has to be 1,000,000% perfect.
Exactly.
They cut back to the planet. They go into the church, and they once they save the radiation thing, get our party out of.
Because they couldn't teleport because the radiation was interfering.
they teleport him out of there, and the lady, they say like, oh, it's the miracle from God. The angel took
But the
him
other
away.
guy's like, no, that's technology.
Because if you saw that and you didn't know any better,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's. So they're all celebrating, they're happy, everyone got back, and then we get Tilly, and she's like, oh, I need to go lay down, because after all that stress, she's like, you get that dopamine drop.
Yeah.
So she needs to go lay down, go back to sick bay, and there's that girl again. Oh, Tilly, you're so great, and okay, Steely. I'm like, I had to go back and rewatch it.
I understand what she
what the
said.
hell she said.
And then literally she sounds like the way Crimson's doing it.
Yeah,
literally.
no joke.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Rosie Perez kind of from the 90s. You stupid. She just has
with a little bit of that one lady who was the maid with the Jersey accent.
yeah,
Just a little bit of
just
it.
a little bit. It's such an odd sounding
Or
voice.
Bob Burger's wife. That little,
A little Jersey, a little
Jersey.
Puerto Rican.
A little Swat here. What the heck's going on?
She calls her Steely. Is it because she stole something or because she was, steal...
Well, we had Tilly for Tilly as a hashtag, so why not? So
Hashtag Steely for Teely. You have to spell it like that.
you gotta say it like that.
You
or
have
does
to
it
say it
count?
like that.
Or does it count?
They know when you're typing, you have to say it that
gosh.
way. Then she's like, what? What did you call me? And then the turbo lift door shut. So I'm thinking, does she know this girl?
Yeah,
or this
of
girl
course.
knows her?
Yeah. Like, is this a stalk? What's going on?
Yeah, like,
It's so
she's,
weird.
like does Tilly have a fangirl she never knew about? But we get back to Pike, and he wakes up in the medical bay, and they're like, yeah, you jacked your ribs up bad. He's like, you're going to feel like you got your ribs were an accordion and a Klingon marching band.
Yeah,
which is
like,
kind
a
of a fun-
xylophone or something like
That was a very Bones type.
But that was
line.
fun. I
It
didn't
was- I
mind
liked
it.
it. It was
I didn't
funny.
mind it.
But he's like, oh yeah, they showed like the X-ray of his ribs, and they're all jacked up. Then we get to Tilly's like, I remember that name. So she like looks through one of her yearbooks, and lo and behold, it's one of the girls from her junior high.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I remember her. And then like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to her now. I'm gonna go to her quarters, and we can catch up. Oh, she's not on the. She has the
Well, she
computer.
has the computer, yeah.
Computer's like, no, she doesn't on the ship. What the heck? Okay, do a search, all search of databases of this girl. She was born here, this date. Like, she died.
Yeah.
And Tilly's like, what do you mean she's
Because
dead?
probably because I bet you when she got hit by that rock, I bet you it did what it did to Stamets.
So this thing, so when you go through the Masil network or whatever this thing does, you're allowed to see dead people?
That's so weird.
So is your mind, so in an alternate universe, this girl's still alive?
Maybe.
Is that what it is? And you're interacting with an
Or is it
alternate...
really, or just saying like the afterlife is like just another dimension?
See, this is where the show gets like this weird kind of like, it's anti-religion, but then it's kind of like pro? What the hell?
I don't think they're doing it. So
It's
weird.
so weird. It's so freaking weird. But then we get Captain Pike's in his quarters. He's not even in uniform. His ribs are wrapped up because he's all jacked. And he calls Michael Burnham in his office, and they start talking, and they kind of have like that theological argument, like, oh, was it the right thing to do? Leave them there. They're human. But he keeps bringing up that directive, but it doesn't
That's
count.
not the best point he can make.
No.
His best point would be something like, you know what? They've evolved on this planet. They have a faith. They're not hurting anyone. They want to stay there.
Yeah.
That's what you say.
And is it our right to just scoop them up?
Yeah,
the
because
permission?
without saying General Order 1, you can say that.
Yeah, because I don't think it applies here. I'm correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure it doesn't apply
Because I
here.
remember in the episode with that one planet that was a bubble that genetically altered everyone, they were all human. And they were allowed to save them. It did destroy that planet because everyone had a certain role because they were all genetically bred that way. But they're human. You have to.
So
because
none of
that's
that
what was going to hit them. So
See, I'm not the Trek mastermind, but I know that it sounded funny. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Yeah. They're humans.
If these were aliens, yes, but they're not.
Then Michael Burnham spills the beans on that she saw the no. That's later. Then I guess Captain Pike did feel a little bad, so he went back down on the planet and talked to that guy, and he's in his Starfleet uniform and tells him, "Yes, we're from Earth. We've developed star travel and all that."
We don't fight each other anymore.
Yeah, we don't fight each other anymore. We're part of a galactic alliance and all these things. The Federation. And this guy's like, "I knew it. I always knew it." And Pike said he felt bad to leave him in confusion. He felt like, I need to come back and at least tell you.
Yeah, because you already believed what we were.
And you know what? He took it pretty well. He was like, that's all I wanted to know. And he went and turned off the box.
See, now I figured the mystery.
It was enough for me. And I thought it was like actually kind of a fun thing, and I'm glad that Pike did this. He goes, hey, I got this fusion core. maybe you'll trade it for that helmet that had that broken helmet that was from a soldier from World War III. He's like, oh yeah, trade right there because now they can power their whole
forever. They'll never run out of power for 100,000 years.
And it's the size of a freaking thermos.
But it doesn't matter, especially their lighting. You could light, a whole state with that and have a problem
for lifetimes. Lifetimes.
Yeah.
So they helped them out. I thought that was nice. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Pike is the saving grace so far with Suru. It looks like in the show.
So they turn on the lights in the church. It's the first thing to light up. So all the people come to the church house. So it's so weird. What is the message here? Are they pro-religion?
But what gets me matter? They only do that because Muslim was part of it.
Yeah, the Islam thing.
I hate to say it, but that's probably what it is.
But we get and then Michael Burnham admits that she saw the Red Angel thing too. And he's like, well, that can mean, changes. It doesn't change everything, but it's beyond coincidence that you saw this thing. Spock is drawing this thing. These people down this planet talked about this thing. So this is an actual...
Yeah, there's no way. There's too much proof.
There's way too much thing. There's something about this thing that's a real tangible thing in some way. He watches the video and it looks like a bunch of soldiers. It's shaky cam because it gets it started in World War III. And everyone runs into church for coverage and everyone's yelling and screaming, oh, there's a bright light. They probably thought a bomb fell.
Yeah.
But the doors open up and you see a little bit of the angel thing and it goes out.
So right there, you have your video proof.
So that angel pulled them to this planet?
And within seconds.
And they land. It's crazy, but they seem...
Why take them so far away, right?
It's weird. So are these red bursts? I know I kind of made the parallel watching this episode. I'm like, is this like Quantum Leap? And it's bringing them to places to help people? What is this?
It's weird. Because that seems like what it was doing. So I don't think it's a force of evil.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's bad, malevolent. It looks like... It's malevolent. It's trying to help people. But why not just come out and do it instead of like doing these weird...
I mean, here's the thing. Maybe there might be protocols that are so advanced that they're not allowed to talk to lesser. But why? But you already let yourself available. You're already on Earth in 2053. Unless he wasn't supposed to do that, or she, or whoever it is, or it.
It's I really want to know what this red energy thing is.
And the reason why we were saying this episode's halfway decent is because Jonathan Frank's directing it. That's why, because he knows Star Trek.
I like everything on the planet.
I like the concept.
I like the concept is great, but all the crap with Tilly and that weirdo her ghost friend. I guess she's a
Tilly.
She's just it's so off-putting, and just the way that the crew calls each other by first names, it's just so unprofessional. I don't like it.
That's not Star
I just
Trek.
don't like it.
It's not Star Trek.
So I would say 10% of this episode was actually excellent. I like the idea of on an away mission, going down to a planet, trying to figure out what's going on.
It was an interesting planet too.
But all the little side things just irritate the hell out of me.
It makes it a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 because of that.
Definitely better than the first episode, but that's not saying much.
No, that's not.
The next week's episode, they show like a preview. I guess Sarek is like investigating these things too. Okay, pump the brakes. Everyone needs to freaking talk to each other. And everyone needs to tell each other their experiences.
Why is everyone? That's the thing about Star Trek. They always communicate, especially Starfleet. They always communicate with each other. They don't hide things. They don't do that.
That's really funny. I forgot about the Klingons, and they showed the Klingons in the next episode, so we're going to see Tyler and What's-Her-Face. And
he still looks human, which is funny.
Yeah, he hasn't
changed back.
I guess it might have been a one-way thing.
Maybe.
Remember they cracked his bones and everything?
Maybe.
They had to remove all his redundant organs, too.
That's
so
true.
I don't know if they can make him go back. But, like, the Klingons have hair now. It looks even sillier.
Yeah.
Why do they just keep them bald like they did in the first season? Why give us a little bit about... It's just so dumb. But that's next week.
And then, but again, like I said, they and then I thought another theological, when they're talking about theology and they're talking about the Bible and like how, like, with this being what it is, and then to them that is the angels, and we have to respect that, and just Burnham just not understanding.
Yeah, she hates it.
It's just insane. It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
They're not hurting you. These seem like good people. They're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, they work the fields. They're very underdeveloped, but they seem happy.
Yeah, they're not even hurting anyone or punishing anyone. No, they just...
Yeah, there wasn't like a slavery class or anything like that. They all work together.
Yeah. It wasn't even like I would even dare say when we saw religion going crazy in Orville. When they went that one planet when they worshipped Kelly, how it went insane. No, it wasn't even like that.
Yeah, there was no wars or anything going on that we could tell, but it pretty much wasn't. Question: did they lose that meteorite? Did they let it go completely?
I think they still got it. I'm pretty sure.
But I know she still has that one in the little cage.
Yeah.
So maybe that's enough.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I don't know if they lost it completely
just
or not.
enough just to get them away from that lawsuit.
Yeah, I know. You're the key, baby. But anything else in this episode?
I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff, like kind of just like just this Tilly, just the regression. I was starting to like her as a character. and she's totally gone stupid.
She's gone silly for herself.
Yeah.
For Tilly.
Silly for Tilly.
Oh, you have a beautiful mind. And, like, it's so weird. Was this girl in love with her? It's so...
But she didn't seem so bad when she saw her on the Hall of Thing when the message.
Yeah, that was when she was younger, though.
No, maybe. No, she seemed more stable. I think it's Tilly's crazy mind is kind of like, making her like that.
I don't know.
You're silly for Tilly for Neely.
I like Suru's. Everything Suru did was pretty good.
Except the time when he had to praise her. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of praising in this episode, too.
Yeah, and they come back. I wanted to thank you.
I want to thank you. And I want to thank you there, Tilly. Yeah, okay, enough of the crampgizing. Why do people have to be validated in this show every, 5 minutes? Especially the females. It's ridiculous.
But, that leads, again, this episode was shorter than the first one. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
It was only 44 minutes instead of, over an hour. But, what do you think, again? Do you think it's, what's happening with this? She literally seeing a ghost? But it can't be a ghost because she died. But how, is it just what she would think she would be like?
I think so, because I don't think, she didn't seem that irritating in the holotape. She didn't seem that annoying. Oh, Tilly, okay, you're going to do that vacation. Okay, just kind of normal. Instead of this weird...
It was this, but maybe that's what Tilly needed. Someone to sit there and say how great she is and how wonderful she is and be emotionally validated. Maybe her wanting that manifested that into that.
Because remember, she wanted Burnham to be there. Because only Burnham can figure this out.
I wish Michael Burnham was here to be Michael Burnham and Burnham this situation.
God, I'm so sick of it.
But, yeah, that's going to wrap it up. I can't really think of anything else. Of course, the comments are always fun to read. Yeah, I read all the comments, even if I don't respond to them. We do look at all of them. And even the ones that say we're idiots and dumb and we hate everything. But, you know what? It's a discussion, at least.
The sad truth is there was so much potential here.
Oh, yeah.
There'd actually be almost an 8 out of 10. I'm not kidding. But it gets ruined with the dumb dialogue.
Doing the donuts, all the silly talk on the bridge.
You're not Malloy. You don't get to say that.
The first calling people by first names, all stuff like that. Sorry if you're going to call me an old curmudgeon, but this is Trek. I want it to be a certain way. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the way it is. But, see you guys all next week. It should be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
I've been your host, Crimson Sin.
FDPCA.
Thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye.
Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching and be sure to like, sub, and share. Also, for the most up-to-date information about the podcast, follow us on Twitter at C15 Podcast.